On this episode, we started another project, and I succumbed to peer pressure and bought an LS. Since the Ford is running, I decided that I'm going to start something different, and it's going to be the C10, because it's just chilling here, and I've been needing to work on this thing for quite some time. So here's all we've done so far. There's a 305 in here, and I took it out, and there was a transmission. It was a turbo 350. I took that out too. The 305 was smoked the rings. The transmission was already giving me some problems, so I sold that stuff for like 300 bucks. Got some cash out of there, and we also went through and like put some undercoating on it. I'm not really liking how it looks because it'll come right off. I already put new shocks in here. This looks rusty, but it's actually new, which I forgot that I needed to paint this thing, so I still need to do that. I have these cat eye wheels, but they're just to roll it around. We actually have some 15s, some white smoothie wheels that I got from some guy on Facebook Marketplace. In here we have nothing done except a bunch of parts. Here are a bunch of brake parts. Here are coil packs for the LS that we have for it. There's some brakes that I desperately need to put on before they go bad, and a bunch of other crap that's in here. Back here, I took off a bunch of the crust. It was like thick of dirt, so I took that off, and so far it looks better, but I still need to like fix it, preserve it a little bit more, and I'm thinking of sanding it all down, or powder coat, like not powder coating, but sanding it and cleaning it up, and then we'll put some rust encapsulator from Eastwood and then some chassis black, so it'll look really new. This is the fuel tank that we have back here. I wanted to put a tank back here, but I didn't want to pay for the all these other ones that they have that are like $600. This one is a tank from a 1980 Suburban. Fits right between the rails and it's good. And I think actually there's a retrofit tank pump that you can get. It's like 400 bucks though, and it turns this tank into EFI. So I mean, I'm just gonna run a pump like over here because I'm broke. Like I said, one of the things that I want to do is to like wire wheel it or something so I can get all of this rust off of here, and then we're gonna paint it again and rust encapsulate this thing so it's good. And then all of these bushings are destroyed, so I need to get all new bushings. On here, I need new bushings. Like down here, there's broken ones. These are probably hard as a rock. Those ones over there are destroyed. I need a new drive shaft anyway. Those body ones are probably fried. Among all that stuff, these brake lines, they seem okay, but I want to get new brake lines because I don't trust these, especially like this hard line or this soft line that's now a hard line. I just don't want to risk any of that shit, so I'm gonna get new brake lines all the way. LMC has a kit for like 200 bucks or something, so that's not bad. One thing I do need to get though is the parking brakes, because for some reason they fell off and it looks like they were dragging on the ground at some point, so that needs to be addressed. Here's the bed. It is in very rough shape, but it'll do. It's gonna be a shop truck, so it's not that bad, and I like it like that anyway. And what engine is gonna go in here but this rusty pile of gunk LS that I found on Marketplace. A lot of people are saying like, oh, I'm gonna build a budget LS or something like that, and then they start off with, this is my Holly EFI, and it costs like $1,000 something. I don't have that money. And if you're following me, I don't know, maybe you have that kind of money, but I don't. So I'm gonna see how cheap I can do this, because I'm a cheap ass. So far, this engine, I got it from some guy on Facebook for 500 bucks. Let me show you what it came with. So this is not a 5.3, it is a 4.8, which it's kind of the same thing. It's not that big of a difference. I think like some of the internals are different or something like that, but for a shop truck for this thing, it's not going to be that bad. It's fine. Also, it came with the transmission. Here's the transmission that it came with. This is a 4L60E that the guy said is slipping in second. It came with the torque converter, and he also said there was this box full of stuff. He didn't know what it was. So when we took it apart, there is the alternator, the power steering pump, the water pumps over here somewhere. There's all the pulleys. There is the flex plate. We have all the exhaust manifolds, the entire harness, which I don't have the computer for, and then I have the intake manifold without the throttle body. Here's the block's casting number. It's 125-67392, and then the heads are 706 heads, which the internet tells me are actually pretty good. This guy had this engine in a Silverado. It was like an 07 Silverado, something like that. And he had the 4.8 in there, and he was driving around. This transmission started slipping, and he thought, I'm gonna change that out before it gets too late. He had another engine lying around. I'm sure it was a bigger one than this one. He got that one set up, and he swapped it in. So then he took everything out, and he listed it on Marketplace. So that's where I bought it, for 500 bucks. So how am I gonna wire this thing, you might be thinking? I'll show you. This is a wiring harness I found on eBay for 80 bucks, and it comes with everything that I need. All of the wiring and where to put everything. So here's the wiring, and instead of getting a $1,000 Holley, here is a $180 stock ECM that I got from Source ECM on eBay, and this has everything that he did. Maybe VATS delete, fans are enabled, cats delete. It's all here. It says 373 gears, but that's because I'm wanting to do a gear change if that's not a 373. So here's the budget so far. The truck, bought it from some old dude for 500 bucks. So we're in it, so pretty good. The engine transmission that was in there, we sold it for 300 bucks. Sold a bunch of other odds and ends that we had, some headers and stuff that I had, and those are now not here. And now we have this. Purchasing this thing for 500 bucks came with everything, all the accessory drives. I just don't have the serpentine belt. The motor mounts, I'm gonna have to get some new ones because these ones won't fit on here, but I have some in mind from Speedway that are pretty cheap. A lot of people end up going headers or something like that, but I have the exhaust manifolds. I really don't want to spend more money, so I'm just going to reuse those. The intake is fine, I just need a throttle body, so I'm going to reuse this. All of those still work, so I'm going to use that again. And we're going to try to keep this as pretty much, it's going to be a stock 4.8 in a C10. Not the most glamorous, but it is the most functional, because why would you want to spend all that other money on it if already you're going to have, if this is in there, it's already going to be pretty fun. Because here at Benny Boy Speed Shop, we're all about big dreams and small wallets because we don't have that much money, and I want to just have a fun truck. This is going to be the work truck, so I can drive it around, go pick up more crap that I don't need from Marketplace. And so far, with all the stuff that we've purchased so far, we're in like 500 for the engine, transmission and stuff, and then the ECM was 170, and the harness was like 80 bucks. So we're in it like under a grand so far, or just over a grand. All I need left, motor mounts, and I think I can make everything else work. I do have an idea with gauges, because I'm also a cheap ass and I don't want to buy any gauges. So that wire harness has OBD2 input on it, and I've been looking around, and a lot of people, they'll get those little Bluetooth ECM reader whatever things, and they just get an old tablet and they run one of those things and they make gauges. So show you guys how to do that too. So the guy we bought this from said it was just, you know, his work truck, just going back and forth to work, but you can kind of tell that he was goosing this thing, which is fine. I'm gonna rebuild it. I'm gonna open it up and just put like new bearings, new seals and stuff, and then it'll be good. Nothing performance oriented or anything like that, but we had taken out the spark plugs, which are a little bit harder than I thought now, and they're all like, you know, regular wear like this, but none of them have oil or anything like that, so nothing too weird. I do have a bolt in one of these, so remind me whenever I'm doing this that there's a bolt in there, so I don't just... I'm gonna take it apart anyway. So we do have the... what is this? The steam port lines. I've seen the kits for this to be 4, because there's a piece back here too. I might get that, I'm not sure yet. But all in all, we're just going to change seals, bearings, things like that, just to make it pretty much a 0 mile 4.8 that we're going to shove in here. The one thing that's going to be a problem is that transmission, because he said it slips in second. But for now, we're just going to put it together and see what it does. If it does slip in second, we'll figure it out. If it doesn't shift or slip in second, then we're good for right now. But this is going to be a fun project. I have never taken one of these things apart, but after looking online for so long, I think I can do it. I'm confident that I have watched enough videos to know the ins and outs of these things, and they look like, as long as you have patience, they work pretty well. And that's what I want for this truck. I want it to be somewhat reliable so I can go to the store. Since I'm back here, let me show you the wheels that we got for the truck. Pretty cool, I think, but they're not any lowrider or whatever, or like huge wheels, but they're pretty cool. They're underneath this. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Hopefully I don't get cut because this glass is broken. Ready? Okay, here they are. These are stock 15s that were on a GMC pickup, like a 71, and he sold me these. These came with the caps, actually. I still have them. I still have the caps to them, but obviously I have a Chevy. I don't have a GMC, so I'm trying to sell those or trade them for someone who does have the Chevy ones. If you have one, if you have a set of those Chevy ones, preferably the white painted ones, let me know. I will trade you the white painted GMC ones for that, because I want those. I mean, it's not gonna run yet anyway, but at least for when that day comes, we'll be able to drive it around all cool. So what else can you expect from this C10 project? Because there's going to be a lot of videos on this thing, because there's a lot to do. Well, I was looking around through all the parts and stuff that I had, and I found a lot of the stuff that I had gotten like a year ago I completely forgot about. Here are the brakes for the front and the rear now I have. These are all the steering components, like the pitman arm. There's like tie rod ends. There is a 3-point seat belt right here. There's all the tail lights. These are bed mounts that I got from a 01, I think it was an 01 F250, F350. We put these inside the frame like we are, and then you just bolt this down into it. So I'll show you guys how that works whenever we get to that. But there's a lot to do, but I'm excited to finally get this thing running, because one of the things is that the steering is rather trash. If you look here, I'm going to be moving the steering. It's a lot of slop there. There's a lot to do. So yeah, I'm excited. This one's going to be cool. And then we're going to patina sauce or the vice grip one and clean this thing up, because I like the color of it, just to take a little bit of the rust off of it and just leave it how it is. People ask me, are you gonna paint? It is painted. It's blue. Didn't you see it? It's blue. So I know in this video I don't really do anything. I was just talking to you guys about stuff. This is gonna be a big thing to do. We're pretty much taking this truck from being a rusty farm truck that was just lying in some dude's backyard that was there to haul trash back and forth to a cool driver with this LS. I know I'm not the only one who've done that. What a concept to the LS swap your truck. I don't care. Maybe you guys are even like, oh, why'd you LS it? Because it works and it's cheap. This is $500 and we got the whole drivetrain. We got everything for it. I mean, I did have to buy some other components like this ECU or this ECM or whatever. It'll be worth it in the end, right? And if so, then at least we qualify to go to LS Fest. It'd be a LS Fest West because East one is very far for me, at least, because I'm in California. Like I said, I'm not changing the cam or anything like that. Cousin of mine has a 4.8 like this and he cammed it and put headers and stuff like that. That guy gets like 9 miles a gallon. I don't want to deal with that. I just want this thing to run. If it's in stock form, I don't care. The engine that was in this thing was like 200 horsepower or something like that. Well, no, actually the 305 that was in here was like 100 and something. And now with this one, it'll be 300 or something. We're doubling the horsepower on this thing. I don't need any of that other stuff. Where am I going to go fast? If I go fast, I'm going to get a ticket. I don't want to do that. I got to be responsible because I have a child. I mean, I've had a child. He's like 3, 4. He's 4 now. Oh man, he's 4? If you want to keep seeing more of this stuff and see this C10 run and drive at some point, hopefully by, I don't know, I'm giving myself like 6 months to finish it, but I'm starting a new job, so it's going to be a little bit hectic for a little bit. I will finish this. Yeah, thanks for all the support. I really couldn't do it without you guys. There's a lot of times when I think like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to not do this. I'm just going to stop. And then I read the comments. I mean, some of you guys are haters. Honestly, it's helpful, man. It really is. Like I've said before, I'm a therapist and this is what I do for self-care. So this is what I do to keep my mind off of work and to make things, you know, a little bit more enjoyable in life. Hopefully me working on these cars and trying to figure shit out motivates you guys to do the same thing. So get out there, work on your guys' projects. If you don't have a project, look on Marketplace. You might find some cool deals because $500. That green truck, the one with the service bed, that was $400. The blue car, we got that one for free from a friend of ours. The Ford, the big one, that one was $1,000. So those deals are out there. You just have to look for them and just know that sometimes it's going to be a little sketchy. So go with a friend. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to amass some more parts, figure out what to do. If you guys have any comments or suggestions or anything, put them down in the comments and I'll read those. Thanks a lot for supporting. We'll see you guys next week.